It's good to be with you on this Thursday. I want to encourage us all to realize that when life changes, if we're trusting God, it will be for good. Now we know that. We know Romans 8:28, and we do rest in that. But when it comes right down to changes that are made that we don't like, we do question what's happening. We'd like to go back to the way it was, and we like our security. We like our regular routine. We like things in the comfort zone. Now, we all know better than to want to live there, but that's just the natural way of life. And we've been battling that all the way through these last few months. But we all know down deep, things aren't going to be exactly the same. And God knows better than we do how that can be used for great good if we'll trust the Lord. I think of the Jerusalem church. Can you imagine in those early days, the fellowship they had, the blessing that they had? I mean, it was just a glorious time. Hundreds and thousands being saved, and just the encouragement of all that was going on. And then even with the persecution with the Sanhedrin initially, God worked. You had that earthquake after that prayer meeting, and even priests were getting saved. And then, of course, you had James martyred, and then Stephen martyred. Things were getting serious. But then we read that things really changed. Acts chapter 11, that they were scattered abroad through the persecution of Saul of Tarsus. And I am sure that that was really difficult for the people at that point. They enjoyed their little fellowships. They enjoyed the big gatherings in the temple of the church. They enjoyed the wonderful privilege of serving the Lord together. And yet God used this to enable them to accomplish the Great Commission. And we read that after they were scattered abroad, they traveled as far as Phoenix and Cyprus and Antioch, preaching the word to none but unto Jews only. And you have many but were believing, and the hand of the Lord was with them, and a great number believed and turned unto the Lord. And you find back a couple chapters before how the churches were being formed everywhere. Now, this scattering abroad, that wasn't any fun. I can't imagine. Families might have been split up. Situations might have been very difficult. There's probably a lot of deprivation. But in the midst of it, the work of God was mightily going forward. Now, no age is the same. No situation is the same. We don't look at one trial of one generation and try to impose that upon the next. What God has for this generation is exactly what we need. And we all know America's not being reached. We all know that there are people groups that need to be reached. And if God has to use national and international trial to cause us to be able to get that accomplished, then so be it. And if we love the Lord and we really believe that all things work together for good, we will be okay. We know that God will take care of us. He's promised to bless us if we're persecuted. God has promised to give us joy in the midst of trial. And so everything we need, we have to be able to manage difficult circumstances. And so I want to encourage you as you look at some legislation that's coming down and very inevitably pressures that are going to come on us over the next several years. Don't let fear paralyze us, but let us be challenged. Certainly do what we can to protect our country, but far more than that, what is God endeavoring to get us to do? And our churches really need to step up and be what they ought to be. And we as individual believers need to have a firm and deep rest and trust in the Lord that what He's doing will be used for great good. So let's be encouraged. The days ahead, controlled by God, will be used in a mighty way. And it'll be exciting to be part of God's plan.